Yeah, the universe has no center. And just because you can put the noun and verbs together to make a sentence that sounds like it should have an answer, where is the center of the universe, are we there, does not require that it has an answer. For example, here's a question that you know not to ask. Where is the center of Earth's surface? Unless you're a flat earther and think we have a disk, which would have a center, but the spherical Earth, you know to not even ask that. You know this. So it turns out the universe has no center because everything in this universe was at the same place at the same time, and we call that the Big Bang. So it kind of had a center, but it's not accessible today. You have to go backwards 13.8 billion years, and the whole universe was at its own center in that moment. In a free country, which at least we believe, we tell ourselves we live in a free country, I don't care what you believe. You believe whatever you want. The problem comes about is if you are in denial of an emergent scientific truth and you wield power over legislation. That's a recipe for disaster. The person on the street doesn't care about climate change or doesn't, maybe we'll have a conversation, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. It's when someone, an elected official, stands in denial of climate change, something that scientists have been telling them now for decades, and they're going to create legislation in response to that. That is the end of an informed democracy. The end. By the way, I don't beat politicians over the head. You'll never see me arguing with a politician. You know why? Because politicians, representatives, senators, they are duly elected by a community of people, the electorate. So if they want to say the Earth is 6,000 years old, it's probably because their electorate thinks so. And so as an educator, my task is to educate the electorate so that they could then vote people into office who can make sensible legislative decisions that can affect us all and not derive from their personal private belief system. If you look at the chemical ingredients of life itself, you remember from biology class, we're mostly water. And good old water is H2O. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. And if you could look at the sort of the element budget of life, hydrogen is number 1, as expressed in the water molecule. The number 2 in the human body is oxygen, turns out. Number 3 in the human body is carbon. 4 is nitrogen. You go into the universe, number 1 ingredient in the universe is hydrogen. That was true in life. Number 2 ingredient in the universe is helium. Next in the universe is oxygen. Next, carbon. We are 1-for-1 matchup with the most abundant ingredients in the universe. Of these, carbon is the most chemically fertile element in the entire periodic table. You can make more kinds of molecules with carbon than all other molecules combined. So, if you were going to experiment through the forces of nature with complex chemistry, and you had to pick an element to base it on, carbon is your man. Given what carbon is capable of doing, perhaps we shouldn't be so surprised that there's life, because we are carbon-based life. We're just another one of the things carbon has rolled up its sleeve. Maybe life is inevitable, given the abundance of carbon and oxygen and nitrogen and hydrogen in the universe. Try to invert that view. Otherwise, you're left thinking, hey, we're special. You know I would give you right to say you're special? If life on Earth were made of an isotope of bismuth, that stuff is nowhere in the cosmos, and then we're made of it, we're special, okay? But if we're the most common ingredients of the matter that we know and love, you don't have an argument. You know the word atom, which was introduced by the Greeks, you know what atom means in Greek? It has a translation, you know what it means? Indivisible. So the atom, it turned out, is divisible. It's divisible into subatom particles. So you get electrons, protons, neutrons, and a whole host of other particles less familiar. There are neutrinos and other things. Then it turns out protons and neutrons are further divisible. You get quarks out of those. And as far as we know, there are only 4 fundamental particles in the universe. The photon, which is light, the electron, of which there's several species. There's the anti-electron and this and that. But let's stay simple here. The photon, the electron, the quark, and the neutrino. Everything in the universe that we've ever observed is made out of that stuff. So those are, quote, the atoms of the universe, the indivisible parts, if you will.